All right, hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to mentfx. So in the last few videos, and I want to do this quickly because I don't want to waste any of your time, we went over a EVC system where we're entering on a 1 minute, and I showed you the general template, which I'll go over today again. Now, in our first video, we looked at a market that was delivering absolutely beautifully over and over again, setup after setup after setup, and we just did a full backtest of the actual days over and over and over again and released them all. And we had like a 17-hour gainer here, then another video on the next day, another beautiful end of like 28 or 27 RR. And then we did the third video done last week, and that was also released to you guys, where really all we had was a -1. And what I've done is I've compiled and put all of these together in the current sheet right here, which is available to all private members, but you can make one like this yourself in Excel. It's very easy, where if we take a look at this, you know, it's been a very, very beautiful profit curve because in general, when you learn to understand how markets operate or how trends work and you look to catch the trend and then you simply trade the best opportunities within trends, you tend to see those results reflected as positive gain. So that was the general last three videos. And in this video, as you can see right here, we left off with the hourly. So that would be the higher C time frame ending up right here, which if I go back to my trading view, I played price back to this point. So this was on the 18th of July, and today is the 24th of July. So we're going to just simply, again, follow our rules with the same EVC, the one that you see right here, where we take the entry, we multiply it by 6 for the validation, multiply it by 10 for the context, which is my overall time frame template to understand how to actually follow the time frames to make them work for you. Now, again, personally, I trade a 60-minute chart as my entry, which means my validation is around a daily and the context is around a weekly, but this works for any time frames, any markets. The only important thing, the caveat, is that you learn to look for the contexts. Now, as a lot of you might know, okay, this is the core, sorry. So in our screener, the paid version of it, this has continued to show general bullishness across the board, which is, again, an incentivization to continue to watch for new potential expansions that can lead to new entries. Similarly, if you don't or are not a subscriber or not profitable enough to go and subscribe to something like this yet, the sentiment viewer, the completely free one, has been showing overall continuous bullishness for the last few months, weeks, whatever you want to call it, on gold. So this video is going to be kind of the fifth and final part to the 3 videos that you already saw, or the 4 videos you might have seen, starting from here, where basically I think we're up around 26R. Let's take a look. Yeah, so about 26R has been secured, and then based on your risk, so if your risk is 1%, then of course that's around a 30% return. If your risk is 0.5%, it'll probably be around a 15% return, but this is where we want to start. And again, simply, the starting point of any of this always comes down to understanding and asking yourself, is the hourly or is the context time frame in some kind of stage 2, which is a delivery higher because markets move in stage 1s followed by stage 2, stage 1, stage 2s. And if you remember, a lot of the trades that we went over in the last few weeks have been through stage 1, stage 2, stage 1, stage 2, stage 1, stage 1, stage 2, stage 1, stage 2, stage 1, stage 2, stage 1, stage 2, stage 1, and we expected the stage 2, and I believe we took a loss right inside of here in the last video. So if we go to the 6 minute, which is our validation, we can take a look at that. Yeah, so if I remember correctly, we took a loss either in here somewhere, there might have been a loss, or up here somewhere. Either one, you know, one of these areas where price went sideways along the rising MAs created an opportunity to take a loss. And notice that I say it's an opportunity to take a loss, not a failed trade. Because the reality about trading, as you have hopefully learned on my channel, or as you'll hear today, and you'll hear again and again and again, the only way that you make money in trading as a trader is you actually learn to take losses, and you take really good losses, and you do it over and over and over again. The only reason that you see this equity curve continuing to move higher is because 50% of the trades we take don't work out. That's why we make money. That's how a trader actually makes money. Do not subscribe to the nonsense you see online in regards to, we caught this many pips and it's all good and we're making money, because that's not how markets function. And higher win rates don't mean more results, and higher win rates don't mean better results. You need to understand how edge works in the market, and that's exactly what all the tools on here are basically trying to teach you. So we had a fly in here. I got the fly, killed him. So with that in mind, we're going to continue directly from here with the expectancy to continue seeing strength hopefully come in and take new trades. So if we go to the 6 minute, we need to remember, and if we actually look at some of these, because I played them at a good spot, you can see how the charts looked when we had some of these 6 minute entries in regards to overall momentum, overall strength momentum. strength and momentum, to watch for the continuations in trades and to trade them, right? We had a really good trade here out of this area here. But the main thing that happened over and over and over again is that in a market that was going to set up a good move, we had a big move, followed by that sideways action, followed by the continuation. And that's all we're gonna do today. And I'm gonna do it a little bit quicker so we can get through more price action. But right now, as we look at this, you should be able to tell that there is no momentum in this at all. And if anything, you know, I mean, there's just nothing to do. A lot of people will still look at areas like this and look to trade them. I simply can look at it and say, nope, nothing to do. And I can now wait for the hourly to begin to prove that there's bullishness behind this move before I ever touch anything. So I'll simply do that. Okay. Now again, price continues lower, and actually, in my final video that I released to you when we started right here, this is where we ended, I told you guys, based on the way this is moving, that it's likely now going to end up in a sideways choppy environment or continue moving lower. And we can see now it's moving lower. And again, the expectancy out of this market would be to continue moving lower or to go sideways, because at the moment, there is no buildup of anything. There's no reason to expect or force things on a market that is not proving to deliver in the direction that you were looking for the market to deliver in. That means when you show up to these any given day, you simply learn to walk away. That's what trading is about. And then you learn to do this across multiple assets, because it's not the asset that makes you money, it's the context. And the second you understand that, the more free you become, because you start realizing how you can trade anything and make it work for you, okay? So there's nothing to do here. I would simply approach this by looking at it and saying, nope, there's nothing to do. Price is not proven in any way that it wants to go up. So there's really just like, this is just a market that you do not touch, right? It's just going sideways a lot. Now, it may start to reach up and out of whatever range is being built here, right? There are ranges being built, and there are stage ones that are happening, right? This could be a very large stage one that may result in a stage two that could start a proper move of a new stage 1 and 2, right? Because every market starts with some kind of stage 1 and the 2, stage 1 and the 2. Every market will do this. And because we are on the context time frame right now, which is our higher time frame, we know that a lower time frame is going to then have to basically prove and show the strength for us to continue getting involved. But at the moment, as we look at this, you should be able to tell that everything's on the bearish side. If anything, you can see this right now, the moves that are occurring are actually to the short side. Like this is basically saying, I want to go down, I want to go down. I want to go down and I want to go down. Now, would I trade this short? At the moment, no, right? Because the reality is all the tools, the things that are showing us how money's entering are still pointing to longs. So what I want to do is I want to wait for those longs to be present rather than force potential shorts. It's as simple as that. So all I would be doing since the day that we started here on the 18th of July, now it's already the 22nd of July, and I'd simply not touch anything. Most traders cannot show up for 3 days straight and not touch something, especially if they trade a lower time frame. This video is meant to show you firsthand that, again, this is how I would approach this market. This is how I would personally trade it. If there's nothing to touch, if there's no action that is worth trading, there is zero reason to force it. And all I had to do was start with my kind of every single day process, which is actually check this, which has been showing overall bullishness, so I'd still look for bullishness, or the sentiment viewer, which has been showing bullishness. And again, this does not reflect that, so I wait. And I keep waiting. And again, you do get that nice move out of that. This is, you know, this can be a nice move on the short side, but there is no reason for me to trade that. I don't have a reason to do so. Now you can see, if we take a look at this, that we are building, once again, a potential stage 1. And we could be coming out of the stage 1 to the top side, and that could put in motion a potential start of a stage 2 that goes into a stage 1, 2, a 1, a 2, over and over and over again, right? That can happen. So with that in mind, I can step down to a 6-minute to see if there is any form of momentum yet. And if there isn't, I simply touch nothing. So as I step down here, right, as I look at this, I really don't see anything. This is some form of momentum. It's not super clear, but it is surfing along the 10. So maybe if price pulls back and starts to build something along this 20, up along the 20 or even above the 10, then there may be an opportunity for an entry. And you can see we've actually, as we just stepped down, moved into overall reaccumulation. And that all happened, you know, after all of this action that we got to skip. We got to skip all this trash action because there's no point to trade something that isn't clear. It's as simple as that. So here we are, and we're just waiting. Right, so as I'm doing this, actually, it's starting to set up quite nicely. It's still under the potential of a stage 1 here, which is a little bit annoying, right? So that could be one of the reasons you may not watch it, but the overall proof of momentum is there. So if there's going to be a trade, it could happen in or around these areas. And you can see it's actually getting tight across the top. It's surfing higher with the rising 20, rising 10. It's just moving higher here. So this could lead to a nice entry up and through these areas. So this is where I'd step down to a 1 minute to check if the entry time frame is lining up for an actual trade. I'm going to switch over to the EMAs. So again, when I go to my entry time frame, I use EMAs because they respect and move on the entry time frame in a specific way for higher highs and higher lows to be true for structure. And this is actually going to be covered in the mastery section. Actually, don't worry about that for now. Let's just do the test. So in this example here, right, that high that we have existing actually is becoming its own MB, right, which is a formation of demand. So within overall formation of demand here, so that means that if price trades through this, it will have validated demand. You're starting to form the same things on a lower time frame. You're starting to form validation of demand here, and as a result, this one right here. And at the moment, just looking at it, this looks actually relatively clear in terms of potentially putting on a long. So I'd be more than happy to put on a long through these highs, through this high right here. Throw the stop under the EMAs like so, and look to take it long and see if we can get tapped in. So price moves, comes down, still valid for a trade. I don't see why we can't take this. So still more than happy to grab this. Again, very, very important to remember that I'm mainly looking to buy stop this high, this high right here. So again, rules will prevent, there we go. So just looking for the buy stop of that high. Still looks good though. And then it fails down. Okay, phenomenal. Go back to the 6 minute and do the same thing, right? If this wants to set up, it's going to prove itself. And right now it's not doing any of that. At the moment, it's actually just on the downside and there's just really nothing to touch. So we're gonna wait. Now, when this occurs, this might end up churning up and creating a nice setup later because failed setups, or not failed, but break-even setups or failed setups can in the future become better setups, right? Because price can start doing something like this and then become very clear. But right now, I see absolutely nothing on this. So I wait. Comes down, comes up, right? Absolutely nothing. Comes down and re-enters distribution. And you can see how nicely this hourly stage 1 is basically proving to still be on the downside of price, right? So we started to look for an entry right around here where price was proving to potentially start a stage 2 up, but failed to do so. And now we've returned to being in a very, very sideways market. So again, what I want to do is I want to wait for like the stage 1 to play out and the stage 2 to technically begin before I look for the next entry. And around here, it becomes very clear that a stage 2 has potentially begun, right? Again, a new expansion, which is a great time to step down to a 6 minute or a validation time frame and decide if price is making any moves that are worth trading. So right now we clearly have momentum. This is beautiful momentum. The thing that we want to hope for right now is that, again, sellers start to come in, but buyers start to overpower suppliers or sellers and build up new accumulation ranges to continue moving higher. If that doesn't happen, this is simply just one of those examples where a move happens, right, and then it fails. And again, in moments like these, anybody trading, anybody truly like trying to force things are losing money. And you don't want to be that kind of trader. So we wait because there's nothing else to do. So I'll wait for price to begin to kind of go sideways, go along the MAs, and then look to take a trade. Like I don't see anything yet. All right, so right now it is moving higher here, but I hate it when it's up, like right up against all the highs. Usually I like a little bit of a dip. So I'll wait a little bit here. See if we get a little bit of a dip. We start getting a little bit of a dip, and you can actually see at that point, we're starting to put in the surf along the 10 and the 20, moving higher, and at the same time, we're putting in this tight range across the top. So that gives me a reason to step down to the minute time frame, which is my entry time frame, and take a look at what the story behind what's going on here is. Now, as I look at this, right, what I see is structurally, we have a beautiful, beautiful move. We're meeting the anticipation of the higher low rule, but we haven't started to create MBs or buy-stoppable MBs that become very clear. Like we have the validation of this demand right here. So right now what I want to wait for is a little bit of sideways here to take along through that. And hopefully if that happens, we'll be able to take along. So we'll wait. It actually does make this little sideways move right here. This is looking very, very nice. So right through that high, let me take a look at the EMAs. Yeah, I mean, so this looks really nice, right? This could come and start taking out this high right here and start to move higher. And for that reason, I'm more than happy to throw on a long through that high, just like this. Okay, throw the stop under the EMAs and look to take it long. Okay, so price comes up, pauses, comes up beautifully, does not give us, now we have to wait for strength or for it to fail, whatever it wants to do, and actually instantly fails for a very simple and fast -1. So what I'm gonna do actually for you guys, I'm gonna look at the date, 7/23, and I'm gonna go in here and I'm actually gonna add it because I want you to learn and see firsthand how even when we're wrong, it doesn't mean we have to be huge losers or constantly losing and just like, and it's everything's the worst, because the reality of trading is most of the time you're gonna be wrong. Sorry, let's put these back on. You're gonna be wrong in taking losses. That's literally what trading is all about, right? Now you can see in this scenario here, it continues building this same setup. The setup continues to get better and better and better, right? So in this case, it was just a false flag, right? We tried to take it and we got taken out, that's it. It's very simple, there's really nothing more to it. And the faster you get used to that, the better, because you won't let it affect you going forward. But this still looks like a great setup. I don't see why this can't start making a move higher. So I'm more than happy to enter this if it sets up again, right? And in this case, just looking at it, another setup of this would be basically through this high up here. So I'll set up a buy stop through the high, throw the stop under the EMA contraction, just around there, and look to take it up. Let's see if we can get tapped in. Still looks really good. Pauses, still looks good. Yep, still looks good. See if we can reach up through this. Looks great. Hopefully we can reach up. Okay, we reach right up into an entry. Cool. So that does count as an entry, even though it's by the tip. Even if it takes us out, that's part of the entry. And then makes a very, very pronounced, candle higher. If the next candle can simply basically take out this high, I would go to break even. It's as simple as that. Yep, so just like that, the entire trade gets moved to break even. Okay, I get to move back to my 6 minute, and I get to follow this for my actual trade. So this is candle 1. For the next 2-3 candles, it should move higher if it's gonna be an actual move. So that's about 2, 3, wow. So during this candle, I very likely would have partialed a personal position. I'm just gonna be honest with everybody that's watching this. Because again, I don't manage this at the end of the candle, I manage into the candles that actually deliver. But because, rules are rules, and for this specific videos, because they're just public, I'm gonna use simple rules. After 3 candles or the proof that there's strength, I'm simply gonna take a partial if it meets 1 to 2. So right now we haven't met 1 to 2, but because it's proven the strength, if price reaches again beyond this 1 to 2 level, so basically right here, I will take another 50% partial for the sake of the video. Even though, just so you all understand, I would have very likely partialed somewhere up here for my personal system, okay? So we'll see if we can get that. Nope, we just take a break even and we'll record that. And there's nothing more to it, right? That's literally all there is to it. So again, this is an example of something that would have been a mini win for me. And it would have taken care of this, let's say, mini loss, because the reality is most of trading is break evens, mini wins, mini losses, and eventually you get the trend that makes you big wins, and all of a sudden your equity curve is, moving higher. But that's okay. I want to show you and teach you to be honest with yourself in these videos. So as a result, I'm going to be fully honest regarding the way I would, just in terms of the testing, right? Because I don't want anyone here to be like, oh, but how do I know? No, I'm just going to do it with simple rules that theoretically anyone could start following today, all right, is the goal. So we wait, there's really nothing here. I mean, it is surfing higher, but there's no tightness. I don't like these ranges. They look really ugly, so I wait. There's nothing more for me to do, right? So prices now, as you can see here, it is definitely surfing higher with the rising 50. It is moving higher, and at the same time, it's putting in kind of this little range here. But in this scenario here, what I would want to see, hopefully, right, is for price to slow down, chop up a little bit, and create maybe a point here where going lower would make a lot more sense. Right now, I hate this kind of action. Just based on a lot of my own testing, this kind of action just leads to more chop. So I'm going to ignore it for now and see if it can hopefully create some cleaner sideways action. Okay, so in this case, you can see it never even validates. It never starts to get beyond the stage 1, beyond the sideways action, and instead just comes right down to the 50. So in this scenario, right, nothing gets touched anyway. There's nothing to do here, regardless of the kind of trader you might be, which is important because it's showing you firsthand that if you were a little bit early and this failed, if it came up and then came down, that could have been a potential loss for you. But if you have the patience to wait for the setups that you may have tested, which is exactly what I'm doing here, and in this case, I mean, it didn't go, but if it did, I would be out of that trade, even if it ends up moving, because I'm aware of what I personally want to look for as a trader. Right now, this is getting pretty choppy, right? A lot of chop, but also as it's doing that chop, it's kind of creating this clear area below which all orders take place. So if we can basically come up and maybe become a little bit tight across here, there may be an entry there on a lower time frame. So that's where my mind would be. That's what my mind would be doing at the time of this like move, at the time of this potential setup. I'd be looking for some sideways now. Beautiful. So this is starting to echo with like start watching, right? So something along these lines. There may be something that sets up here in a second. Right, the 50 starts coming up, the 10 and 20 are coming together. This is very nice, right? And it's surfing, it's kind of like surfing this thing higher. This is really nice because it's moving higher with the averages, which means that overall accumulation is coming in. It's coming down into a tighter like range across the top. So if the lower times can line up for something, I could definitely see this maybe making like some kind of a move higher, okay? So let's step down to a minute and let's put on these. Now, looking at this, we definitely have a high here that is worth potentially buy stopping. So we'll keep that in mind. And as price develops here, we'll see what we can do. So price comes up, starts to validate. Again, I don't really see anywhere to buy stop. You can see this is the general area we were looking at. It's making this high here, which some people might buy stop and maybe it'll work, but I don't like to anticipate the move out. I like, a clear proof that price is likely gonna move because it's made it beyond a single point. So I'll wait here, nothing to do. And it kind of looks like it's coming down. So I'll go back to a 6 minute and I'll start to follow it here. And you can see at that point, it never even comes up here. It never does anything worthwhile. And then it fails below, in this case, the rising averages, which means that simply price is losing its overall orders. And now, even though if you trade, maybe with 100 or a 150 or a 200, there may be some kind of buildup here, but those are not the kind of moves that I personally look for. I look at the moment, at least, I look for the very clear momentum movers, which means that a lot of the time, it's a lot of sideways or sitting out or being patient, because that's how trading is done. And then what I do is I look at a number of pairs and assets and do it on all of them. So what ends up happening is I pretty much take a trade every single day. Okay, and we're now on the downside and there's nothing to do and price is choppy. And what's really cool about this is if you really study this action and look at it, no matter what kind of trader you are, support, resistance, crazy other stuff out there, buy the break and the whatever it might be, no matter what kind of trader you are, you're not making money here. Anyone that's trading this long or short is getting wicked out, stopped out, chopped out, or are not having runners. And I want you to really understand that because I'm trying to teach you to start following trends and understand how trends form. If the move's gonna happen, it's gonna do so in a clear way. It's gonna build that move up and then it's gonna make a beautiful reach through it. Versus if a move's gonna chop and be ugly, it's gonna stay and be ugly. So don't force things on a move that is proving to be trash, that is proven to be ugly, okay? So in this case, I really just don't see anything. This is just all choppy. This is all choppy action, right? In my eyes, I understand that this is now building an hourly like area around here. So really, this could start a new stage 2 here on like an hourly, maybe move higher, maybe up to 24, 30, somewhere here, I don't know. Could move up to there. So the idea is, if this started to put in some really clear strength, maybe go sideways and start setting up something clean, there may be a reason to step down, but at the moment I see absolutely nothing, right? Because I want to see momentum behind this. I want to see true momentum behind the market. So price is just kind of stalling, doing nothing. There's just nothing here. There's just nothing. I mean, it's just chopping, right? This is just choppy action. Choppy action that's going back and forth, back and forth. Yep, it's reaching up, but who cares? Look at the prior action. Look at how the moving averages look. Look how the market's moving in regards to them. What this shows me, if you look at the averages here, what these averages are telling you, because they're telling a story, is that the average orders that are entering this market are they don't know what the fuck they want to do. The average orders are coming in big bulks on the buy side and the sell side over and over and over again. People are selling into stuff, buying into stuff, don't know where they want to head. All the creation of the actual moves are rangy all over the place. That means there's an indecision between buying and selling. There's an indecision between whether the composite operator wants to fully accumulate and take that demand higher or supply and take that supply lower. And as a result, because of that, whatever money is participating here is likely going to lose. So when I see this action, all I see is even if it does this, I don't care. This does not affect me. As a trader, I don't give a shit how much of a move this makes if the move that created it is not clear. I look for clarity in the trades I take because I'm putting on my own money. I'm putting on my own risk. So I'm only going to take money or take risk where it makes sense for me to have a reward. That's literally why we trade risk to reward. That's what's called edge. So I wait. And I assume, again, I don't know, and you don't have to trust me, but I assume that this action, just based on what I'm looking at, is gonna result in something like this or like this. Okay, that's all I can see right now, or just down. I don't really care. I just don't think that this kind of action is gonna result in something that looks like this. That's all I'm trying to put out there. And again, the reason that's so important is because if the action's not gonna result like this, or doesn't have the likelihood of resulting like that, why would I force a trade on something like this? That's what's like crucial in understanding kind of this industry and understanding how you wanna approach edge. So I wait. Beautiful, it's so beautiful. See, this is why I love this is why this game is so beautiful. The more time you spend learning it, the more time you spend understanding it, the more time you spend testing and seeing it, the more you start to understand how prices and trends actually function. And instead of forcing things now, you learn how to sit out. You learn how to be patient. You learn how to, when you show up on the 23rd of July, you learn to sit there for 2 hours. You learn to sit there for 23rd of July started back here, actually. You know, you learn to sit there for 6 hours, 7 hours, because if you're trading a lower time frame, that's how long you're going to be sitting there in the case that you have alerts or whatever set up. Nothing here is worthwhile of being traded. Everything is going sideways or is in a shit range. And at the same time, if you really want to get into the nitty and gritty, this is in clear redistribution right now as well, as per the mentfx private indicator. Look at this. This is trash action. I'm not here to trade this kind of action. Yes, you might get it right, but again, when you see this, your mind should instantly go to this and to this. All I see when I see this is have fun, traders, right? Have fun. You're about to get swapped up. Anyone trading in here, anybody, including the person watching this, even you, the person watching this, if you traded this on this day, which was, you can go check your own trades on Tuesday, 23rd of July, I can almost guarantee you that unless you traded like a perfect, some random trade along these lines and took maybe 0.5 RR out of the market, unless you did something like that, you lost money, or broke even, or got chopped out multiple times on this day. It's as simple as that. And again, a lot of traders won't spend the time to understand what that means. Instead, they'll show up again the next day and the next day and the next day and keep making the same mistake. Oh, it's going up. It's gonna go. We gotta get long. And again, it might go long. I might look dumb, but the reality is this has already happened like 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. It's gonna happen again, likely. It's gonna happen again, likely. So we wait. Okay. So momentum starts to come in. Now, it's not great momentum, but it is momentum. Okay, and hopefully we can come in with real momentum and start making moves that start to kind of fit this style here where we can see the next expansion higher, as we saw before. Let's see if we can get that. Okay, so in this scenario here, we're getting some nice sideways action. If this can continue to go, well, I guess not. It just comes down. Well, more traders losing money, right? That's all that's happening here. But at the same time, what's cool is we are coming out of kind of this longer term stage 1. On an hourly, what's happening is price is kind of going sideways and expansion out of that can occur. That means on the hourly, price is likely to start making a move higher if it can start getting above some of these areas here, because that's how markets move. That's how true demand comes into the market. And at that point, we, as 6-minute validation-based traders, because again, we're just using the EVC as I teach you guys over and over and over again. There it is. In this case, for the 1 minute, because again, I do this personally on an hourly chart for my entry, but I'm showing you that this applies to any time frame. That's where we are going to want to get involved. So we're going to wait for that EVC to exist, because that's true demand. Okay, so price just moves higher. You know, I couldn't predict that. Maybe, you know, maybe some of you saw this kind of move higher here, and then you look at this, but this is not true momentum for me. So I'm really not interested in stuff that's not really momentous, right? So we wait. So it starts surfing higher here, which is really nice. And hopefully what we get is a little bit of a pause here, and then we can look for a trade. Hopefully we get a little pause. Good pause. Hopefully we come up now. Yeah, I mean, very solid. So now you can see we're kind of surfing high. So there is some momentum. These momentum, you know, swings are very quick. So that means the next move is likely to be very quick, maybe to 24.10, like a very quick one. But that's enough for us to get potentially partial or broken even before either a big move comes in or it fails back down, which is good because we're getting proven now that, hey, there might be money behind this market right now, right? It's kind of putting in this tight range across the top. So I'll go ahead and take a look at the minute to see if it's even in a setup that's worthy of being taken. So it's another very important step where, even though it's setting up, it doesn't mean that there's going to be a trade. So what I see here as I look at this is you have a structural story clearly of a low to a high, a higher low, a higher high. This is the starting principle of any good move, always. Now, part of it is the anticipation of the higher low rule, which, I mean, I don't really see at the moment. The structure in here that started to build got taken out, and then started to reabsorb higher, which is kind of good, but that's just weird. I don't know why that happened. The anticipation of the higher low in terms of this demand got traded to, which is a good start, but never got taken out. The one down here never got traded to or taken out. So what this leads me to believe is that, there's not enough orders in terms of how this is moving. There's not enough accumulation for it to start a move. Now, does that mean that it's not going to make a move like this? No, it means it can. It just means that I won't be part of it. It means that I'm not trading it until it makes something clearer. Like, for instance, if it maybe creates a structural leg higher, comes down, takes out a low, and starts building something here, then there may be a worthy trade for me to take. At the moment, though, just looking at it, I don't see it. I need time on this, so I'll wait. Yeah, so I have to wait. Yep, so very choppy, a lot of chop. Comes down, comes up. I mean, it's not deciding what it wants to do, right? It's building a range, it's building a tight range, but it's not showing me a clear point through which I can buy right now. So I have to wait, so this might make a move and I might have missed it. That's part of the game, right? So we'll go back to the 6 minute. Now it looks like I'm missing it, which is fine. So if I go to the 6 minute, right, as I said, you might see a move out of this that kind of fits what we saw before. So probably something like this. So this might make another move, maybe up to, like I said, the 24.11, 24.10, and then fail down. But either way, that's not a move for me. But if it wants to set up, it'll come back and it'll make a better setup. So that's what I'm interested in. So I'll wait. It's actually not terrible. This is not terrible, right? But, so it is surfing higher, but remember, this is starting a stage 2 from whatever this sideways market was, which means that even if this does validate, the minimum that I think it'll make a move to is like here, which really is not worth it for me because this is choppy action now. Take a look at the MAs. How are they interacting? They're kind of choppy. They're squiggly little lines. That means that orders coming into this are a little bit uncertain. I don't like uncertainty. I like certainty in my trades. So I'll wait and see if this wants to become clearer. Because for all we know, this could start to surf kind of higher with the 50 if it comes down, and then maybe create a very tight and clean range across the top. I don't see it yet. It's forming for sure, but it needs time, in my opinion. So we'll wait for some time, see if it wants to form something. That's beautiful. If it catches itself here and starts building something higher, that could make for a very, very nice move. Let's see what we can get. I mean, it comes down very aggressively, comes up very aggressively, makes its way to that high, right? Funny enough, but I see nothing here, right? This is a hard market to trade. Anyone forcing stuff here, and again, it's not hard to force things. I can go inside of this and find infinite entries, and I know how people trade. I know that if I look at this and I truly study the action here, there's gonna be people taking longs everywhere and anywhere, right? Through any highs, any lows, any breaks, any potential inside breaks. Like some people were trading here, some people were trading on the short side here, some people were trading here on the long side. People are trading anything and everything. Always remember that. There's always an opportunity. That doesn't mean it's a good one. All I'm waiting for as a trader is for a good opportunity. So I have to sit back, I have to do nothing, and allow price to do whatever it wants to. Because again, what does this remind me of? It reminds me of this and this and this and this and this, which is we are here to chop. We're not here to make money, which means anybody trading these moments. So again, go back to your own charts, go back to your own results. If you traded from the 23rd of July, from the 23rd of July up to the 23rd of July. Okay, so if you traded on that day, you likely lost money, is my assumption, unless you somehow pinpointed some entry in there. And even then, I'm assuming you didn't make money, because I don't know what happens next. Let's see. I don't even know if I should upload this because it looks like I have another chart open, right? It just looks like it. But the reality is all I'm doing is I'm focusing on price. I'm asking myself, what is the story being told by price currently? And the story being told by price is that it doesn't know what the fuck it wants to do. So we wait. We simply wait. Okay? For the next bit of momentum or something along those lines. Comes down, nothing to do. I mean, there's just nothing to do. Comes up. Yeah, it's just a nothing. It's a nothing market, right? It's an absolute nothing market. And we wait. and we wait, and we wait for price to hopefully start surfing something, start putting in some kind of clear move. So some momentum comes in, but it's weak. It's weak momentum. The momentum here isn't saying I want to just blow up. I want to go as high as I can. I just want to keep going. People are losing their minds. They want to buy me so heavily that I want to go. Instead of saying, I might go and I'm done for a little bit. Oh, I might go and I'm done for a little bit. I might go and then I'm done for a little bit. So can I predict the next move? Yeah. The next move is probably to 24.20. Does that mean I should trade it? No. Why? Unclarity in price. This is the action that we're now expecting. What do I expect from this? This is what I expect. Now, will that happen? I don't know. But what I do know is anyone trading these moments is losing money. I mean, it's perfect. It's just perfect. It's perfect how the market works. So I'm looking for momentum. That's all I'm doing. I'm waiting for momentum. There's none of it. The market is not saying in any way that it wants to go higher, right? All it's saying is let me chop, let me chop, let me chop, leave me alone, let me chop, right? Compare that to some of the action that we traded in prior videos. Let me actually go like this. Compare that to some of the action that all of us traded or looked at in prior videos. Take a look at some of the momentum in the market. Take a look at some of the momentum in the market. Take a look at some of the momentum that followed the momentum. Look at the moving averages here. Compare them to the stuff you see now, right? Very ugly. And even if you try to trade this, like there's nothing here, right? Yeah, it's maybe making a range here, but look at how ugly it is. There's no uniformity to it. So this is where I ignore price. And this is money lost from people that do not learn to, nor can control their emotions in ignoring bad action. And now we're actually bearish, right? If anything, and again, I wouldn't trade it bearish because I'm overall bullish and I'm waiting for bullish opportunity. But if anything, this should now move down to like 24.09, I'm assuming. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's just beautiful. So beautiful. Now again, is me predicting the market doing anything? No, it doesn't matter, right? Because it's not impressive, right? Because I'm not here to trade bad action. I just know what bad action looks like, and I know in general how bad action delivers. And notice that even if you traded this bad action, you probably didn't make much money. So go back to your charts. What did you do on gold, or what would you have done from the 23rd of July till the 24th? Did you make money? How much money did you make? How did the RR on those trades look? Or do you find yourself getting stopped out? And then use some of the information here, because the likelihood is that you're taking in information from a lot of different areas, from a lot of bad areas that are teaching you to look for a pattern. And what's happening is the pattern's happening every day, but the pattern's never resulting in actual edge increase over time. Instead, you're winning some trades, losing a lot of trades, and you're all over the map, right? All over the place. Okay, so we wait for momentum. Now that is a sign. Some money has entered, some of it. And it's happening through probably some kind of higher time frame, which is an hourly, 60-minute context, where again, it's reaching out of it, which is a start. That's good. Hopefully, this can result in some kind of nice sideways, followed by continuation. So we wait. Yeah, we wait. We wait. It's a close one. So again, here, this is an opportunity where if some of you are like, why don't you take this? You're right. There is an opportunity in there, and there probably is one, but this is not enough for me. This is a hard one for me. If it maybe even spent one more candle inside of this range, or range for one more candle, I probably would have jumped down to a 1 minute to take a look at what the entry time frame tells me. This is one of those examples where if it goes now, which it might, because this actually looks pretty good, if it goes, I'll miss that trade. That's it. That's as easy as it gets, okay? Yeah, so this would have probably been a break even or a small win for some people, but it's not my kind of trade. There's just nothing I can do. But now, if this can start to serve higher, that sucks. All right, there's not going to be a trade here. It doesn't look like when I see this, all I can imagine, again, you should be thinking the same thing, right? Is sideways action. Yeah, I mean, this is action that is hard to trade. This is just, yeah, this is wickiness. This is action that doesn't result in anything except for usually money lost, right? For a lot of people. So all I can do is sit here and ignore it because it's not clear. Okay, it's becoming better. So you have momentum, and momentum is kind of moving higher and higher and higher. And now again, it might only make a small move, maybe to like 24 or 30. However, What it's also doing at the same time is it's surfing higher with the rising 20 in this case, and it's putting in this tight range across the top, which is a good start. This actually looks pretty okay, in my opinion. So maybe there's a trade or an opportunity to be taken here. So if I jump down to the 1 minute, what do I see? We'll put on these. So structurally, we've met the anticipation of the higher low rule. From this low to this high, we have the higher low, higher high. So the expectation is there to move, which is really, really good. But I don't see clarity in the establishment of demand, right? I don't see clarity in the establishment of demand and then new demand. What I see is unclarity in that case, right? So what I see from this is at the moment, it might make a move, establish demand, but then by that point it's too late. And what's going to happen is people that are late are just going to get chopped out again. That's the only trade I see that's worthwhile, and even then, it's not going to be good. Or I just see this as, fucking off. So this is where I can ignore this for now. I can watch it, but I can ignore it because it's just not clear, right? It's probably not going to make a setup that's worthwhile. It's probably going to range and be trash. It's so crazy. The more you do this, the more you start to just follow what the market's telling you rather than you're just showing up to just hope and hope and hope like a lot of people do. The faster you learn not to just hope for a market to work, the faster you start making money, funny enough. Right, so again, as I'm looking at this, I see nothing, right? Like 10 sloping straight down, 50 is here. It is surfing the 50 kind of nicely, which is good. It's a good start. But there's no tight range through which like a long even makes sense. So I need to give this time. And if I give it time, it might actually set up for a move that might be worthwhile. That could start a little move higher. That could definitely happen. So just looking at it, all right, I'm trying to also talk through my emotions as I'm looking at this because I want you to understand that there's a lot of work that goes into what I do, what I look for, and also into the fact that trading is not black and white like a lot of mentors try to teach you. Trading is black and white to the individual, the beholder, right? So when I take an entry, I'm very certain in my entry. But like, look at this, right? Look at all this action that we've just skipped through. 5 hours or a day and 5 hours because it's shit. It's shit. Look at where I traded. Look at what's happening, right? There's just nothing worthwhile. So what I have to do is I have to wait until it becomes clear. And it just loses itself. It loses itself and it becomes bearish again. So what's next? Well, probably dump or sideways dump. Can I trade that? You can if you really want to. I'm not interested in it, right? Because I'm interested in trading in the direction of the underlying trend, of the underlying money. Because even if this happens, it'll probably do it choppy, just like this. Just like this, just like this. That's not action I want to trade, right? Think about it. You guys are literally watching a video right now where I took 2 trades, 1 loss, 1 break even, nothing else, no wins yet. Maybe there's a win, we'll see. And you're just watching me say, nope, 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 nope. And I hope that's the biggest lesson for a lot of you. Because I cover this in my mentorship all the time, and you can always join up and be part of the community, talk with me, all the fun stuff. But the reality is, if you take a look at this video, most of the video is just be patient, be patient, be patient, be patient, and that being patient is resulting in trash action. Which means that if you weren't patient and traded the trash action, what's the likely result? The result is trash. So don't play this game to have trash results because most people do, right? Play to have an edge. Wait for momentum. And we come off just like we discussed. Beautiful. And again, now we're on the downside and we're making downside pushes and the hourly is now lost and this thing needs a ton of time to regain itself now, right? Hourly's back to almost where it was when we left off our video last time around here. Yeah, there you are. This is a market that now is telling you what? I want to do this or I want to do an ugly version of a down move. That's what it's telling me. What happened? Did I break it? Is it live? Oh, it's live. This is how, theoretically, without hindsight, whoa, this is how you understand the movements in the markets, predict or anticipate the next movement in the market, and recognize for yourself when it's time to be patient. This is one video on that. Now remember, when I do this, I personally trade on a higher time frame, and what I'm doing every single day is I'm looking through a number of assets, ones that are piqued my interest, and I watch those. The reality is I would have to look at gold. Again, this is a longer video. How long? About 45 minutes. The reality about gold specifically is that if I open this in a heartbeat, I go, nope. And that's all the work I have to do on it. Don't forget that, right? Just because I look at something and it's not worth trading, it's worth to be patient, does not mean I'm wasting time. I've done the work before, so now my time is spent well when I can look at something and know, I'm gonna watch this, or this is shit. And the hard part is that a lot of people can't do the this is shit. They don't see that part and they trade that shit and they get shit results. And you don't want shit results.